trainees, and welcome to a character creation with DM Matt. This is my first time trying to do this here while recording, but I'm going to talk about a character today that is not specialized in combat. What? I know, bear with me. I'm old enough to have enjoyed watching A-Team, granted still a lot of them were on reruns, and I've always loved the character Face. Getting in there and dealing with the combat of conversation and subterfuge rather than with brute force and I pity the fool. So today I wanted to talk about how to create a Face character, or at least how I envision one. Now before I start, Wizards of the Coast says that most games don't make it past level 12. So I'm not going to make a, hey, this is an awesome 20th level character idea. I'm going to make an 11th level character, something that you can actually play and realize by mid-level and see how it works as you level up to building into the party's true face. Alright, so the concept I have, first off, the first thing that is decided already is half-elf. You get 2 free skills, you get the bonus to charisma, 2 extra get 2 extra stats to any stat you want. It's hard to resist something this good. So we are going to go with half-elf for the skills and the charisma mostly. So I've already come up with the point buy, you see right there, and that's what we will be using as our standard. I've already filled it in into the character sheet. We will pick the skills for half-elf in a little bit. I want to take care of the background and all that stuff first. Now, being this type of person, I kind of like the idea of doing almost a 007/criminal type thing, so we're going to go with the spy background, which I think is going to fit most with this character. We'll see here that you'll get deception. That way. You'll see here that you're going to be able to get deception and stealth, 2 skills that are going to be very phenomenal for a spy-style character. You're going to get a gaming set, yeah, right, and a set of thieves' tools. That's also another one that's probably not going to really work well with the concept later on, but crossovers, most of the time, good DMs will let you switch it for another tool set. Like, say, if you play a rogue, they'll let you switch it for another tool set that specializes with this. So, maybe a forger's kit or a disguise kit or very different ones like that. Now, personally, I won't be doing that because I plan on going Mastermind. That's a whole other thing we'll have to talk about. But I'm going to just say it's going to be a musical instrument, another way to blend in. It's not game-breaking, but it does play with the social aspect of trying to blend in. And sometimes the best way to blend in is to stand out a little bit. Best place to hide something is out in the open. So, they get a few things: crowbar, set of dark common clothing, including a hood, because that's not inconspicuous, and 15 gold, so that's always good. They do have their specialties. Now, given this concept, you got the blackmailer, the burglar, enforcer, a fence, robber, hired killer, a pickpocket, or a smuggler. I'm almost thinking that more smuggler would be the style. You know, Han Solo-esque, more oozing charisma, trying to get by people. But I don't know if the criminal speciality is really going to matter since we are a spy. So we're going to just skip that part there. We will not have featured criminal contact. We're going to actually be commissioned by a crown or something like that. Well, yeah, right there. It says smuggler in there, too. I didn't catch that before. So, we'll come back and do the personality traits later. I always like doing those last or first. Kind of depends on the character. Sometimes I have a very unique concept in there, and I don't like doing the ones straight out of the book. I like to tweak them a little bit, but I usually try to pick at least 1 or 2 from inside the book. One of my favorite combinations for criminal with personality trait is... I don't pay attention to risks. Never tell me the odds. Play Han Solo. I always have a plan for when something goes wrong. Is one of my favorite ones. Followed by the flaw of, if there's a plan, I forget it. If I don't forget it, I ignore it. Because, frankly, I make the best plans. The party doesn't. We're going to go with my plan either way, whether they agree or not. Now, that's not the best way usually to get along with people, and you can see how they kind of clash a little bit, so we'll come back to it as we get to deciding how we want to make our character later on. So we're going to go back to just talking about the basics of how this character works. But the rest of that, it's just really up to you on that, on how you want to do it. So, going to the character basics. So we definitely have... Oh, I lost my page. There it is. We have Deception and Stealth right away. Now, I would say, starting off, Rogue. Now, the reason I say to start off Rogue is because Rogues get more skills than... Wow. Can't spell right now, or type. Rogues get more skills than anybody else. They get to choose 4 from the beginning level. And they're things like Acrobatics, Athletics, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Investigation, Perception, Performance, Persuasion, Sleight of Hand, and Stealth. Everything that we want. So I'm going to put this right over here. Now, we get to pick 4. What are going to be the best 4 for this? It kind of depends on what exactly you want to do. I want to be able to read my opponent, so I want Insight. I'm going to definitely want Deception. Already got it through the background. Stealth. Already got it through the background. Persuasion. Because not all the time do you have to lie. So that's a definite. So we're looking at Insight and Persuasion. If you're playing the face, you're also blending in to find out information. Perception is going to be extremely important, as is Investigation, for trying to find things. Now, I would love to have Performance, but that might be where the half-elf comes in. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go with, Sleight of Hand would have been really useful too. Well, we definitely need Insight, we definitely need Perception, and we definitely need Persuasion. I already forgot the other one I said. Investigation. Because if you can't investigate something, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. Now, you may have somebody in your party that's actually already, like, a wizard or somebody with a high intelligence, and they may actually focus on investigation, which would let you to do something like sleight of hand or acrobatics or something like that if you're wanting to play something other than half-elf. I'm trying to make this character be kind of a standalone who can work with a party. I find that tends to work best. Now, since he is not combat focused, we're going to have to figure out how to get it so he can at least survive in combat, because even the best conversations go astray. It's going to happen. So we're starting off with Rogue. So we get that, and we're going to get 2 expertises. Well, expertise is going to be very important for a few of the things. Since you are face, you're going to need Deception for when you're disguised. Definitely going to need Deception. And I would probably also say either Perception or Insight, because being able to read somebody, you don't want to fail that. So I'm going to say, for this, let's start off with Deception, because I'm planning on disguising myself quite a bit. And we're going to go with Insight, Expertise. You do that, all that in the settings. So that way, you get double proficiency bonus and you have a higher chance of succeeding on those. You get Thieves' Cant and Cunning Action as well on first level Rogue, or Cunning Action second level Rogue, sorry. I'm going to fill those things in later. We're just going to run through it all real quick here. Let me pull out my book. So you get Expertise, Sneak Attack, and Thieves' Cant. You get Cunning Action at second level, and Roguish Archetype at third level. With this build, it doesn't really matter how you take when you take which levels of which. You're going to be taking, by the end of it, 5 levels of Warlock and 6 levels of Rogue. And the reason for that is for some of the spells and abilities that you get for the Rogue. It'll help with your infiltration and information gathering. So, we will be taking 6 and 5. So we'll work through it together. I'm going to just work through all the Rogue, and then we'll go look at the Warlock and see how they blend together nicely. So, at third level, from the Sword Cursed Adventuring Guide, we will be taking the Mastermind. Now, this one is really underrated. A lot of people don't enjoy it, or like the concepts of it, but I think with what we're trying to do here, it works very, very well. At third level, you gain proficiency with Disguise Kit and a Forgery Kit, and a gaming set of your choice. You also learn 2 additional languages. So we will know we'll know Elf, Common, 1 additional language from being half-elf, plus 2 more. We're very fluid in very many languages, which is very good for a face. Additionally, you can unerringly mimic speech patterns and account for a creature when you hear them speak for at least, accent. You can mimic speech patterns and an accent of a creature that you hear speak for at least 1 minute, allowing you to pass as a native speaker of the area. I was thinking about taking the feat Actor. This works very similarly. You may not be able to mimic a person specifically, but you can at least get somebody from the area, which, with a good enough deception check, will let you pass even more. Master of Tactics at 3rd level, you also can use the help action as a bonus action, and you can use it within 30 feet rather than 5 feet. This is a way to aid the party in combat when you're not going to be able to do a lot yourself. I mean, the most you're going to have really is going to be Eldritch Blast. So you're going to want to be about 30 feet away, shooting your Eldritch Blast. Or perhaps you want to do a crossbow, or a hand crossbow, getting a sneak attack damage. It just kind of depends on how you work everything. There's different ways to do this. But I plan on relying on no actual weapons, relying on Eldritch Blast, which does waste my sneak attack as a rogue, but I'm taking other things for rogue, not sneak attack, so. You get the ability score improvement. Both the ability score improvements will be getting from both classes, so one from each class. I plan on putting straight into Charisma, so we will have a maxed out Charisma by 11th level, which is, well, actually by 8th level if you play it right, which is very beneficial for Eldritch Blast, as I was saying. I wanted to do that. Also, it helps with all of your face actions. Then you get Uncanny Dodge. That's the oh crap, I'm getting hit for a lot of damage, get out of the way of it. Takes your reaction, but you don't really have a lot of other things you're using your reaction for, so it'll be fun. And then at 6th level, we get additional expertise. And actually, for my... I almost forgot about it. Let's see, we're going to go Sleight of Hand and Performance for the 2 you're going to get for half elf. And when you hit this higher level with this next one, Perception, just to max it out, and either Stealth or Sleight of Hand are going to be the most effective. For part of the build, I don't know if Stealth is... well... yeah, Stealth is always very helpful, so we're going to go with Stealth. Alright, so we have our bonuses there. Now, again, this is rolling it up as an 11th level character. So we have all of Rogue taken care of there. I might be missing something. HP. We'll get that all taken care of. They both have D8s. The Constitution's never changing. It's easy math to figure out at the end. That's not that big of a deal. Now, Warlock, on the other hand. Just checking my notes. Warlock. First level, you get to choose your Otherworld patron. Now, there's arguments for all of them that are really good. For this particular build, I want to go with Old One. Great Old One. There's 2 reasons. First off, with the stealth, the concept of having the telekinetic mind thing is very useful. I think that is a great little feature. And I like the bonus spells that go with this for the concept of a face. Detect Thoughts, Clairvoyance, Sending, Phantasmal Force. They're more aligned to it than the other ones, although Calm Emotion could be very good for it as well. I just like the flavor for Great Old One for this the most. I think it works best for a stealth-style character. The real thing that we need to look at is the other stuff we get with them. 2nd level, we get 2 Invocations. This is where Face comes in. Mask of Many Faces. That allows you to use Disguise Self at will. That's it. You alter yourself a little bit. It's not major things. You can change the appearance of minor things about yourself. Height, facial texture, clothing. Basic things. Nothing that's too extravagant. But it will allow you to adapt on the fly. Which is why I put Performance and Deception in there as my higher things. Because it'll allow you to infiltrate anything. That's the main point of this, is infiltration and the concept of that. Now, it doesn't matter what the other one you take is, because at 3rd level you're going to change it. So take whatever you want at this point. 3rd level, when you get your choice of your boon. At 3rd level, when you get your pact boon, there's 2 you can really go with here that will work, and they both work very, very well. You can either go Tome, which is going to give you all the rituals in the game eventually if you find the scrolls for them, which is a great thing. Personally, though, for this infiltration style, I would want to go with Chain. Get an imp, they can go invisible, and then at 3rd level you can also take Voice of the Chain Master, see through their eyes, and communicate with them anywhere in the world, as long as you're on the same plane of existence. So that allows you to see through them, use them as a little scout. They're invisible, they're really stealthy, and even if they die, you can just summon them back. Not a big deal. I mean, they may be a little upset for roleplay reasonings, but you can work it out. You are the master, they are not. So I prefer that concept there. And then, as you level up again, before you hit 5th level, you do get a 3rd invocation. My personal favorite is Eyes of the Runekeeper, just because if you're trying to be the spy gathering information, if you come across a language you don't speak, which there is, you only speak, what did we say, that was 5 or 6 out of the, 30 languages there are? I'd rather be able to read whatever written thing I can find. Now, there are spells that can do that for you, but Warlock spells are very, very, very limited, and I haven't even looked at what spells I want to do. But that would be the one I would go for first, in my mind. To help with combat a little bit, Repelling Blast or Agonizing Blast would also work very well, but pretty much there's a lot of different ones in here that would work extremely well. Extremely well. So it just depends on your playstyle. So the 3rd one, whatever fits you best. Now, that's pretty much why I want the 5 levels, is basically to get Clairvoyance, because Clairvoyance is such a good spell. You would know 6 Warlock spells, and let's take a look at the Warlock spells here in the Player's Handbook, see if there's any that really fit with the character. Alright, we also have to come up with cantrips, which, how many cantrips do they know? I believe it's 4 at that point? Oh, only 3. Only 3 cantrips. Eldritch Blast is one of them. I can't play a Warlock without that. Friends. Now, this is for getting advantage on intimidation checks. We don't have intimidation, so that'll help get it a little bit better. And frankly, they're not going to be friends with you after you've intimidated them anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. That's one choice. Me, I think I'm going to go with something that's a little different. I've always enjoyed things like Prestidigitation, Minor Illusion, and Mage Hand. So I think I'm going to do Eldritch Blast, Mage Hand, and Minor Illusion. Minor Illusion to help get me out of problems. Mage Hand, well, I've always played shorter characters. You need to get stuff off the top shelf somehow. So we're 5th level. It means we're going to have only 1 spell, is that correct? Known as a 3rd level spell that we can take. Yes, only 1 3rd level, and 3 1st level, and 2 2nd level. Okay. Or 1st level. Yeah, 3 1st level and 2 2nd. So, if you want to focus in on damage, Hex is a must. Hex is also extremely useful in our situation here. If you're able to hex somebody without them realizing it, which is actually fairly easy depending on your DM, hit them with Wisdom. Then go talk to them with a Deception check. Suddenly they have disadvantage. That can really help. So Hex, I think, is a good one no matter what. I would take Hex. Honestly, any of these could be working. Comprehend languages will let you understand languages. Does it let you understand them in written form as well? Because that could really help as well. If you want to avoid taking the read any written language, you could take Comprehend languages. That does take up a spell slot, though, and spell slots are very limited on a Warlock, so it's kind of up to you on that, because it always casts the highest level. I think that's personally a waste, and that's why I'd rather have the Invocation. Personally. Expeditious Retreat for getting out of areas is always helpful. Armor of anything, any of the armors, any of the Hellish Rebukes, Expeditious Retreat, Illusionary Script, Witch Bolt, Charm Person. there's one that'd be very good, because that actually benefits from leveling up. So Hex and Charm Person are the two I would probably take for sure at that level. You get one more. I'd probably take Unseen Servant because I'm lazy and I want something to do the work for me. I like my roleplay. Second level, Misty Step is extremely useful. Invisibility to be able to follow your imp is also another very good one. Those would probably be the two I would actually do. Hold Person would also assist your party if you need some more control. If your other party members don't have control, that would be another very good one. But I would say probably Misty Step and Invisibility for this concept. Third level, you get things like Counterspell, Dispel Magic. There's too many good spells at third level. It is the hardest one for me to always pick. Always will be. Always will be. Hunger of Hadar is a great one. However, I think out of all these, Flying or Counterspell would be the most important. And just, again, pick that on your flavor. Now, the reason I like all these things together, it works together to make the on-the-fly, improvising face character that I so desperately enjoy playing. I enjoy playing characters that have high intelligence or high charisma, because while combat is a ton of fun, I love setting up things in the background. It's the lawful evil in me, but that's who I am. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you have any suggestions for how I can make this better in the future? Maybe actually adding things to the character sheet would probably help. But feel free to leave comments, and until next time, trainees, signing off.